Today is the 29th day of the second month, in the 9th year of Chanelguk, April 10, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and True Parents of Heaven, Earth, and all humankind. 천지인 참 부모님께 경배. 바로. Let us recite 가정맹세.
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상천국과 천상천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
For the opening prayer, may I call on Mr. Alan Sumingkit.
Let's pray. Good morning, our most loving Heavenly Parent and our victorious true parents. We come before you this morning as one community, as brothers and sisters, and as your children. We are grateful that we can come together despite the situation that we are facing now. Instead of becoming far from each other, we can become closer, Father, under your love and guidance. We pray, Father, for the world's healing. We pray for America also, who are experiencing difficulties this time, not just problems of medical, but also social problem, as well as all throughout the world. We pray, loving Heavenly Father, that soon we can get rid of all these problems and be able, Father, to come together, not just spiritually, but physically as well. We're so grateful, Father, for giving us our true parents, for giving us our brothers and sisters, and for continuously guiding and protecting us and making ourselves strong spiritually and physically in order, Father, for us to continue and be able to contribute to the building of your kingdom. Father, a lot of things that we can be grateful of, small things and big things. All of these things, Father, come from our heart on how much we are grateful every day in order, Father, for us to always be appreciative of your love, Father, for everyone. Thank you again, and you bless this morning as we come together to study your words and listen also from the messages of our brothers and sisters and our leaders. And may you help us open our minds, our hearts as well, in order, Father, for us to really understand these things. Only when our heart is moved, that we can be able to move ourselves as well physically. Thank you again, and please protect everyone and stay healthy and be protected at all times. All these things we humbly ask and pray in our name, Sumingit family, Blessed Central family. Aju.
Let us offer our individual prayer. Aju, Aju. Let us offer our greetings to our Heavenly Parent and True Parents. Morning, Heavenly Parent and True Parents. To all our leaders, good morning. Elders, brothers and sisters, good morning. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to our morning devotion. We are now in our 69th day. And let us also uh, give a hand and appreciate Kuya Alan for the beautiful prayer. Thank you so much po. Now, to begin, may I call on Miss Kyla Sumingit for the Hundok reading.
Good morning, Heavenly Father and true parents. Good morning, leaders, elders, and brothers and sisters. This is the continuation of the reading from the book of Mother of Peace, God's Kingdom in Our Midst. When Prophet Radebe came to Korea in 2019 to attend the 7th anniversary of True Father's Holy Ascension, he offered special devotions on top of Balwang Mountain. At that time, Secretary General Dr. Yonho, with whom Prophet Radebe had become sworn brothers through, taught me how to use chopsticks. So now he did quite well using them to eat the noodles. Prophet Radebe's appreciation of Korea's culture was another expression of his love and respect for me, his true mother. The path of mutual prosperity. There is a narrow path deep in a forest, barely wide enough for one person to walk along. The one who creates that path sweats profusely, with hands getting scratched while cutting away branches. Thanks to that person, those who come after can walk along the path in comfort. We need to be deeply grateful for that hard work of that first person and endeavor to make the path wider and more even. A path through people is harder to create than a path through a forest. Unlike trees that give way to the hatchet, people have their own will. And when sometimes goes against their will, people close their hearts. I shed sweats and tears trying to open hearts and connect people as one family. I pioneered a path no woman has ever walked and embraced the world's peoples in the most precipitous places. I quietly practiced true love for human salvation and world peace in situations from which anyone else would have run away. My forgiveness and embrace have moved enemies to tears. Now we have ushered in the springtime of the Providence. Spring is the busiest time for farmers. They must do their utmost and ensure an abundant harvest in the fall. In this providential spring, we need to construct the original world that God planned to realize from the beginning. We can receive the marriage blessing and share it with our family and tribe. Then we can work together as messiahs to transform our nation, such in heaven's decree. No matter how difficult our work, we need to complete the providence and reveal the truth. When we fulfill our responsibility, following God as sunflowers follow the sun, we will surely realize Heavenly Parents' dream and humanity's hope. The question is whether we will be able to achieve that while I am on earth. If we do, we will stand proud and tall in front of our descendants and all generations to come. There has never been such an opportunity. No matter how young or old you are, I'm sorry. No matter how difficult our work, we need to complete the providence and reveal the truth. We cannot let the world be ignorant of the coming No matter how difficult our work, we need to complete the providence and reveal the truth. When we fulfill our responsibility following God as sunflowers follow the sun, we will surely realize Heavenly Parents' dream and humanity's hope. The question is whether we will be able to achieve that while I am on earth. If we do, we will stand proud and tall in front of our descendants and all generations to come. There has never been such an opportunity. No matter how young or old you are living you are living in the same era as the only begotten daughter. This is your golden age. Be grateful and do not miss this time. We cannot let the world be ignorant of the coming of true parents and the blessings and grace of God. We must guide all people to attend heaven. Those who live in the kingdom of heaven on earth can go to the kingdom of heaven in heaven. We have one goal and one path, the path by which we can become God's proud sons and daughters. We need to lead lives such that God can embrace us and say, "Well done, my daughter. Well done, my son." We need to realize in our hearts that this is the golden age. True parents' guiding life philosophy is live for the sake of others. Wherever I may go, I practice living for the sake of others. I always try to love people more than their own parents or siblings do. People tend to keep the best things for themselves and give things of lesser value to others, even in the relationship with their own parents. If you pursue only personal gain, chains of addiction and greed will tie you down. If you constantly put others first and live for their sake, you are on the path of eternal freedom and blessing. When I see people in need, I give them whatever I have. A world where everyone gives their best things to others is a world of joy. This is my life philosophy. People who live only for themselves will soon hit a wall. You need to live your life with love and generosity. Drew.
Let us offer our gratitude to our Heavenly Parents. Thank you so much for that wonderful message and words from our true parents. Let us also appreciate our sister Kyla Sumingit for the reading. Thank you, Kyla. Now to share her or his 10 points of gratitude, let us welcome our brother Sun Kyle Magsipo. Please unmute yourself, Kyle. Okay.
Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, good morning, our heavenly parent, true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, our leaders and elders, blessed families and full-time members, brothers and sisters nationwide and from other nations. Once again, good morning. Now, I'll be very thankful for giving me this opportunity to share my 10 points of gratitude or appreciation. So let's start from the first. My first point is I'm grateful to our Heavenly Parent and true parents for giving me love, strength, and blessings. And also, they always inspire me to overcome countless trials in my life and reminded me of to value my identity as a second generation. Number 2, I'm thankful to my family, my parents who guided and took care of me for 2 decades and loved me as their son, for all uh, their countless guidance and protection of from anything that I have been going through in my life. They have always supported me, and even though that I'm being stubborn sometimes, or maybe every day, every day I'm being so stubborn, they still love me and guided me from all of their hearts. And also to my siblings who are always making fun of me and respected me as their eldest brother. So to my family, I love you all. Third, leaders, I'm very thankful for them, especially to original vice president uh, of uh, of our Asia Pacific region, Reverend Julius Malikdem, to our national envoy, Reverend Angelo Halog, to the president of NBCC, Kuya Victor Labanyo, and also the regional director in Region 12 Saxarjan, Mrs. Myla Sumingit, for they have put their sincere efforts in giving services and guidance to all members around the nation in place of true parents. Next, fourth, I'm thankful for the high-ranking officials, especially our President Rodrigo Duterte, and also our professional and non-professional workers, and also everyone, the Filipino citizens, who are risking their lives on the front line during COVID-19 pandemic, giving services and maintain the safety of our fellow Filipino citizens in our country. Fifth, to my relatives and friends, I'm deeply thankful for them for giving me moral and material support in surviving in this pandemic. And sixth is, of course, our beautiful and bountiful nature, the fresh air, food, shelter, and other life necessities in order for us to live and survive every day. Then seventh, I am really thankful for all the learnings I had from the previous seminars and events. For they have not only for giving me guidance, but also it had protected me every day from Satan and able to control from any temptations that I've been dealing with my own life. And also it has it's deeply etched into my heart and to my conscience to really understand the heart of our heavenly parent and true parents. 8, I'm very thankful to also to myself, because this is not because of the teachings that I've learned. I push myself to my limits to believe and follow the teachings of our beloved true parents. If I had not followed myself to do this kind of thing, to overcome all of these struggles that I'm having, I wouldn't have not been in here in front of you, everyone. Ninth, I'm very thankful to in listening to music and also watching different entertainments, or they have maintained my my sanity and to cure my to cure all my depressions that I've been experiencing in my entire life. And lastly, once again, this is the last 10th for this opportunity of giving 10 points of appreciation or gratitude to every one of you. Actually, I'm grateful for this because I've been able to share to every one of you, to all of my gratitude, my how grateful I am to live in this world, and all the things, to all the people, and to my fellow friends and families. All of them are so valuable to me, and they are already a part of my they are already part of my life. And this I say that I am truly grateful in the at the bottom of my heart. So once again, thank you for listening to my 10 points of gratitude. And once again, good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kyle, for sincerely sharing your 10 points of gratitude. Let us give a hand once again to our brother Sun Kyle Magsipok. Thank you so much. Now, to lighten more and make our morning more beautiful, let us listen to the offering song to be rendered to us by the Derecho siblings. Let us give them a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone! Today, we will going to sing a Japanese song entitled Mirai. It means future. I hope you will enjoy! Hora, Ashimoto mite guran koriga, anata no ayumu michi. Hora, mae o mite guran, ariga, anata no mirai. Hahaga kurita. Takusan no yasashi sa ai wo itaite ayume to kurikai shita ano toki wa mada osanakute iminado shiranai. 私の手を握り一緒に歩んできた夢はいつも空高くあるから届かなくて怖いねだけど言い続けるの自分のストーリーだからこそ諦めたくない夜になると手を握り一緒に歩んできたその優しさを時
時は嫌がり離れた愛素直になれずほら足元を見てごらんこれがあなたの歩む道ほら前を見てごらんあれがあなたの未来その優しさを時には嫌がり離れた愛素直になれずほら足元を見てごらんこれがあなたの歩む道ほら前を見てごらんあれがあなたの未来ほら足元を見てごらんこれがあなたの歩む道ほら前を見てごらんあれがあなたの未来未来へ向かってゆっくりと歩いてゆこう
Wow, beautiful voices. Let us give a hand to Derecho Sibli. Thank you so much for that wonderful song. Now, I think all of us are ready to listen to the heaven's guidance to give us or to render to us the guidance from heaven. Let us all welcome our very own national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halong.
Thank you very much, our Sister Yab. I would like first to greet our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning, Heavenly Parents and true parents. To all our beloved leaders, all our blessed families, my brothers and sisters, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Mahayag gozaimasu, annyeonghaseyo, and good morning to all our beloved brothers and sisters who are joining us in today's morning devotion. Thank you very much for everyday joining and coming together to attend Heavenly Parents and True Parents. I would like to really express my gratitude to Region 12 for hosting our morning devotion today. Thank you very much for that very wonderful and inspiring song from Diretso siblings, from Diretso family. Maraming salamat po. And also for the heartfelt 10 points of gratitude of our second generation, the son of Kuya Julie, our brother Kyle Magsipok. Maraming salamat. Thank you. And also the reading and also Kuya Alan Sumingit for his prayer. So I think really every day is a very inspiring day. Many people we can feel and experience Heavenly Parents and True Parents love. So this morning I would like to share another topic. Today is already a 69th day of our national morning devotion, as what Sister Yeb shared. So for yesterday we talked about heaven's delight, and also in the previous Hundukes we discussed about heaven and learning continuously, how can we be able also not just to go there, but really to live later on in the kingdom of heaven, not only for our families, but for all people. This is Heavenly Parents' dream and desire. But we know also that to go there, it's not easy. There are a lot of challenges and difficulties. So this morning, I would like to share this topic entitled Egoism and Pride. So when you talk about egoism, or the same, this is also the same word with egotism. So it means like too much, talking about oneself, excessive, like thinking, or like always focus in oneself. And then pride, this is like having great pleasure in one's achievement. So today I would like to share about this topic, egoism and pride, based on True Parents' words and guidance. So let's study together. True Father said, we have to know our enemy. In your walk of faith, regard arrogance as the enemy, regard stubbornness as the enemy, and regard insisting on your own way as the enemy. So we are all walking a life of faith. So Father is reminding us today that we have to regard this kind of attitude, arrogance, stubbornness, and insisting on our own way as enemy as we walk in this course. Father said, no one can solve this problem but you. Because people are self-centered in their thinking, they speak ill of others. When others have something good, they want to take it from them. Such people are doomed. What about you? Is your mind self-centered or other-centered? No one can solve this problem but you. So, for a few times we were very inspired, right? Really excited when we learn about Kingdom of Heaven. Going there is really, very exciting, especially the experience that we're going to have when we go there, as Father explained in detail, right? But also we know clearly that to prepare well going there, there's a lot of challenges, many things that we have to overcome. So Father today is reminding us, because of people are self-centered in our thinking. We speak ill of others, and then these problems we are all experiencing in our life. So Father is saying, is your mind self-centered or other-centered? So this kind of situations human beings are in, right? So always thinking of oneself. So Father said, no one can solve this problem but you. So even though we have our parents, we have our leaders, we have brothers and sisters, the only person who can solve all these problems that we have is only us. No one can, even though you're very close to someone else, right? But still, these problems that we are experiencing in our daily life is or can only be solved by us alone, right? No one can solve this. So this is the situation of fallen human beings. This is our situation. True Father said, self-centered people are doomed to perish. People whose philosophy of life is me first are doomed to perish. In pursuing their own desires, they harm others and damage their nation. Such people will perish. Individuals should not take advantage of their nation. Rather, individuals should offer themselves for their nation. That is a duty of citizens. That's why, really, the problem that our first human ancestors encounter is, in the beginning, this is really the root cause is self-centeredness, right? So we can see everywhere in our society that people are just concerned about themselves. This philosophy of me first, Father said, people who has this kind of philosophy are doomed to perish. So in pursuing their own desires, they harm others and damage their nation. So this is what's happening now. Why the nation is like this? Why the world is being damaged? Because of people, practicing only and focusing only for themselves. So they pursue their own desire and then they harm others. They harm the society, they harm the nation, they harm the world, right? So people who are practicing this, Father said, are doomed to perish. These people will perish. Father said individuals should not take advantage of their nation. Rather, individuals should offer themselves for the nation. That is a duty of citizens. That's why in loving our nation, we need to become patriot, right? We need to become people. This is what is also lacking in us. Many nations, they don't really, many citizens, they really doesn't love much their nation. They are just, preoccupied already. They're already okay, just having good families, or just, focus with their own families. Not many are thinking about their nation. This is what we need to improve and develop, right? We have to really love our nation. We have to really contribute. We have to really offer ourselves, our families, for the sake of building a beautiful nation, right? This is our duty as citizens. We need to really become patriot, right? So this is really important. So because of this self-centeredness, our nation is being destroyed. The whole world is being destroyed. That's why instead of, thinking just of ourselves, we have to really, offer something and give something for our nation. This is the only way. True Father said, people are not meant to live for themselves. People are not meant to live for themselves. Yet today, many live only for their own sake. They say, I live for me. They are people to be pitied, like orphans who have no parents or siblings. So these people who are living life like this, Father said we need to pity them, right? They are like orphans, no parents, no one is guiding them. They don't have siblings, no brothers and sisters. So they are living on their own. So they don't know. So that's why they are just thinking of themselves, because no parents. That's why it's very pitiful. That's why without parents guiding people, right? That's why we have to really inherit the heart of a parent. So we need to guide young people, our brothers and sisters. We need to guide people who are living life like this, right? So Father said they are the most, people that we need to pity. Actually, they are like orphans. They don't have their parents. That's why it's really very sad. This world, many people, they don't have their parents. That's why they are just thinking of themselves, just, living their everyday life just for themselves. So we have to pity this kind of people. So this is our responsibility to educate them. That's why true parents came on this earth, right? Educating us. So this education should be reaching all people who are just living for themselves, because they are like orphans, Father said. So people are not meant to live for themselves. So we are created to live for others, as we could see, in our environment, all creation, they are living for others. This is how God created the universe, right? Including human beings. We are meant to live for others. So of course, because of the fall, human beings became self-centered. They lost the original purpose of creation. That's why only through true parents, they brought light to this dark world, and letting all the people understand and know the original purpose of why, how God created us, the philosophy behind the creation, right? True parents have brought this very clearly to us. So we have to just, not just keep this on ourselves, but to really educate other people, because we are created to live for others. So True Father said, individualism appeared because of the fall. The first step towards the fall was the appearance of individualism. It was thinking that nothing in the world matters but me. The next step was to think people have unlimited freedom. What's this with God telling us we cannot eat that fruit? Why should there be any rules to restrict us? We can do as we please. Is it freedom when people do just as they please? It should not be that way. So because of the fall, what happens, Father said? So individualism appeared because of the fall. And then so it was thinking that nothing in the world matters but me. So people started to just think about themselves. And then the next step was to think people have unlimited freedom. That's why people are always crying out for freedom. Why we have unlimited freedom? So what's this with God telling us we cannot eat the fruit? So why there are a lot of restrictions, right? So because of the fall, these things, appeared. Individualism. And people are thinking why we have unlimited freedom. So Father is saying here, we can do as we please. So, because of the fall. So Father is asking, is it freedom when people do just as they please? It should not be that way. So we learn and understand already what is freedom, right? Also Father explained to us, it's not just doing anything you want, that you have freedom, but it should be, doing in accordance to our free will, our original mind. So meaning only doing good things. Things against our original mind, these are not, doing things based on freedom. So we learn. So because of the fall of our first human ancestors, individualism, right, appeared. And of course, they started, to think about themselves, and then they reject God's guidance, God's commandment. And then because of this, then the whole world, all people focus with, themselves, became self-centered. So this is the main reason. That's why this world, people are just, preoccupied and just living their lives just for themselves. They don't care about other people. They don't care about the society. They don't care about the nation. They don't care about the world, right? Even Father mentioned, like, people always, say that the problem is the world, the nation. They are not thinking about themselves. That's the problem, as the root of the problem actually started from oneself. So this is the reality of our society today. So Father said, people unconsciously became arrogant. From the day the first human ancestors fell and received the blood of Satan, people unconsciously became arrogant and have used others to satisfy their needs. They have pursued that direction throughout human history. So, Father said, people unconsciously became arrogant. So from the day the first human ancestors fell and received the blood of Satan, unconsciously we became arrogant. Adam and Eve, our first human ancestors. So all of us, the descendants of Adam and Eve, and then have used others to satisfy their needs. This is the situation in our society. We use people to satisfy our need. So only thinking about oneself, sacrificing others for oneself. So to repair this and to restore this, we need to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of others. We need to live for the sake of others. This is the proper way, right? This is the opposite. That's why we have to go the opposite way. And then not so many people wants to go this way. People just wanted to go with the flow. They wanted to go with the easy path. That's why when we started to learn the principle, when we know our beloved true parents have taught us and pushed us to go the other way, to go the opposite way, right? Instead of sacrificing others for our sake, we have to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of others. We have to live for the sake of others. This is the only way for life, right? For us to regain what was lost. But many people doesn't want to go this way, right? This is the reality. Human beings pursued that direction throughout human history, just, going the same way, going with the flow. People doesn't want to experience difficulty. That's why many people have tried. When we study, people come and go to Unification Church, especially in the beginning, in our movement. People come, they tried with different motivations, and then when they experience difficulty, they leave. So this is the reality. Not so many could go. That's why, we who are here, our elders, brothers and sisters, you have been victorious. You have followed, this path, this, very difficult path. But, you are here. And then now we are already living in the time of the only begotten daughter, and you are still here. How much you have, sacrificed and, overcame this situation. But this is the only way, right? This is the only way. That's why we are very grateful to our Heavenly Parent and true parents, despite all the challenges and difficulties we have gone through. Still, we are here and continuously pursuing until the very end. Especially now, our true mother is leading the providence. Aju, we have found already the solution. And then we are all moving forward together with our beloved true Father one day, this world will really change, will truly change, and we can really create a better world for our future generation, no matter what. Aju, true Father said, self-centeredness ruined the world. What is the fall? It is to unlawfully take what belongs to someone else. Self-centeredness ruined the world. Knowing this universal principle, human beings should return to the world of oneness, but instead they continue to play the game of pulling the world for themselves. That is evil. So what really ruined this world? Self-centeredness, Father said, ruined this world. So because of the fall, right? So the fall, Father said, is an unlawfully, it is an act or, taking what belongs to someone else. So because of selfishness, that's why we are teaching people to live for the sake of others. That's why, whatever we have in this world, people are, living their life. They wanted to live comfortably. They want to have everything. If people will just only think of themselves, then this world will continue to be ruined, right? That's why True Parents is teaching us to really, think of others, sacrifice for others. This is the only way to recover and to really restore this world. So for thousands of years, continuously people are, living self-centered life. So without true parents, this world will remain the same. But because of true parents, because our true mother is with us this time, so we have to continue to sacrifice ourselves for others. Then we can really restore this world. We can really build this world for the sake of the future generation. That's why all the difficulties that we are experiencing now, if we only think of ourselves, we cannot change this world. But when we start to think for the sake of the future generations, right, we will really going to sacrifice anything, especially for the sake of our children, our grandchildren, all the generations to come, right? So we are really the hope of this world. We have to really teach people that we have to really live for the sake of others. So this is what really ruined this world. Father said self-centeredness. So we have to go the opposite way. So true Father said human beings inherited Satan's nature. So human beings have inherited Satan's nature, the inclination to regard everything, even God, from a self-centered viewpoint. So because of the fall, we have inherited Satan's nature. So that's why in the Bible we learn that, the God of this world is Satan. Satan completely controlled this. Human beings, we are following directly Satan. All the nature of Satan because of the fall came to us. We have inherited because of our blood lineage, right? So that's why there's no other way. We have to change our blood lineage. So through the blessing that our true parents have brought to us, this is the only way, right? That's why no matter what, without changing our blood lineage, even how much we try to be good people, we cannot, right? So we have to change our blood lineage so that this blood of Satan that is flowing in our veins should be changed and be eliminated. Aju? So this is really important. Father said, all who are proud of these things will fall into hell. Are Americans proud of their money? Do not be proud of it before God. God can create money as much as he wants. Nor should Americans be proud of their power and military might. God is all-powerful. God is all-knowing. Who can challenge him with knowledge? It doesn't matter what you earn, that you earned a PhD from Harvard. You are all the same when you stand naked before him. Your knowledge will not gain you admission into the kingdom of heaven. All who are proud of these things will fall into hell. So if we are proud of all these things, power, money, like powerful nations like America, Father is talking about. So God is all powerful, right? So Father said, even though we gain a lot of knowledge, we have PhDs gained from Harvard, we have a lot of money, all these things, your knowledge will not gain you admission into the kingdom of heaven. Father said, you are all same when you stand naked before God, before him. So all who are proud of these things will fall into hell. So that's why people who are very proud of their accomplishments, of what they have, of the money, and then all the material things, all the things that they have accumulated in this world. Actually, this will not, give you like admission, Father said, into the kingdom of heaven. People who are proud of these things will fall into hell. That's why every day, out of thousands of people who are dying or millions of people dying every day in the world, where are they going? They are going to hell. That's why Father said in the record book, you cannot see there, billionaires, millionaires, these proud people. You cannot see their names there. They're all going to hell. That's why this is the reality. People who are very proud of, they are not thinking about God anymore. Like people who are living life like this, they're thinking they don't need God. But actually, Father said, when we stand before God, later on we are like, we stand naked. Nothing that we gain in the physical world we could bring with us. So all of us, when we go to the spiritual world, we stand naked before God. So we cannot be proud of anything we have now. Aju, because God is the source of everything. God is God is all powerful. Everything that we have now comes from Heavenly Parent. So we have to recognize. So people who are just proud of what they have, their accomplishments, they are bound to hell. This is the reality. So Father said, living for the sake of God is ultimately living for my own benefit. I know that American culture upholds individualism. However, there must not be individualism that disregards the relationship between God, the subject, and human beings, his objects. Selfish individualism is destructive, and its prevalence is driving America into a corner. Now, America could recover the essence of Christianity by seeking for God's original way of life. The individual lives for the sake of the family. Families contribute to the community. Communities give their strength to the nation. Nations exist to benefit the world, and the world exists for the sake of God. These are God's heavenly ethics. If we practice it, then what is God's is also mine, and whatever I do for God also benefits me. So living for the sake of God is ultimately living for my own benefit. If only human beings realize this, if we live for the sake of God, this is like living for our own self. So that we learn in the principle, living for the sake of the whole, it benefits the individual, right? So it's very important if we start to live for the sake of God. We are like sacrificing, and then sometimes we are thinking nothing left for us. But actually, it's not. The more you sacrifice and live for others, then also you are living for yourself. You are gaining out of that. The principle of give and take. So we understand this principle. Last time, I think that was last Thursday, there's one question during the APLC, Asia Pacific Leadership Conference, during the open forum. One principal from Nepal asked, like when you are giving, like later on, you cannot give anymore because nothing left for you. So they asked like this, nagtanong sila. But actually, understanding the principle of give and take. The more you give, sabi nga, the more you receive. This is the law of the universe. This is heavenly law. So it seems like when you give, that's why many people doesn't want to give. Otherwise, wala nang maiwan sa kanila. But actually, it's not. Right? Once you give, the more you receive. Right? It's the law of the universe. So the same is true, Father saying here today. When you live for the sake of God, when you live for the greater, and then actually ultimately you live for your own self, you get the benefit. That's why if only people will understand the beauty of living for others, then people will naturally live for others, right? This is really important. This is really important for people to know. All the scriptures are talking about this. Goodness is, living for others. And then the more you give, the more you live for others, then the more you will be benefited. It's really very beautiful, right? This is heavenly law. If only people can understand this. So that's why what really destroys this world is individualism, right? That's why the more people live for themselves, the more this world will be destroyed. The more the society, the more the family will be destroyed. That's why the only way is to live for the sake of others. And then first need to live for the sake of Heavenly Parent, Aju, and then ultimately all human beings will be benefited. So Father said individualism is a most fearful thing. It leads people to hell. Selfish individualism is Satan's creation, the result of the fall. As Satan centers on himself, he divides people by having them center on themselves. Thus, one individual becomes two mind and body in conflict. So two, a couple, become four, the man's mind, the man's body, the woman's mind, and the woman's body. So this is the reality. So why did America become such individualistic nation? It is because Satan is exerting his dominion there. The so-called right of privacy is at the heart of American individualism. Yet this individualism is causing the family to break down, the society to break down, and the nation to weaken. Individualism is the most fearful thing. It leads people to hell. So can you imagine what's happened in America and in Western nation who practice this, like they have this privacy, called right of privacy. This is Satan's weapon to keep his dominion and keep individualism to be practiced continuously by people. In America, once you reach 18 years old, right? So your parents cannot say anything to you anymore. You live your life on your own, and then no one can correct you anymore. This kind of lifestyle, this will destroy America if this will not change, right? This will destroy America, and not only America, and we could see now all over the world. So this is interesting. Father said here, as Satan centers on himself, he divides people by having them center on themselves. Thus, one individual, one person becomes two, because the mind and body are in conflict. And then when this individual get married, and then become a couple, then become four. Can you imagine what Satan is doing? One person, Satan divide this individual because of their disunity of mind and body. This one individual become two. And then when this individual get married, and then these two individuals also are, their mind and body also are not united. So the couple become four. The man's mind, and then the man's body, and then the woman's mind and the woman's body. Can you imagine what Satan is doing? We thought these two become united, right? But actually it's not. If we don't understand this, if we cannot solve the problem in us as individual, and then we get married, the problems become bigger. The problems become bigger. That's why many people doesn't understand this. That's why even us, why we need to prepare well. That's why Father said, we need to prepare well, going to the next level of our life. That's why sabi nga nila, ang pag-aasawa hindi madali. Totoo talaga yan. Hindi yan parang kanin na isusubo mo lang. Pag napasok ka, iluluwa mo. This is the reality. Father is teaching us very clearly, very detailed. Why this world is like this. What Satan is doing is to divide people. The individual doesn't want, uniting mind and body. This is really the core. And then this individual, if you cannot unite your mind and body, and then you get married, you are just like two physically, but you became four because of this undivided mind and body. Can you imagine? That's why this is expanded in the society, in the nation, in the world. That's why this world is hell. This world is like this now. That's why how to solve this is starting from the individual. Starting from the individual. That's why we have to really work on how to unite our mind and body. Right? Before, getting married. We have somehow some foundation. And then when we get married, we help each other with husband and wife. Right? That's why it's really important to understand why we need to prepare well. Father said, the most serious problem in this world is the problem of young people and family breakdown. This is the biggest problem in this world, more than corruption, more than anything. The biggest problem. That's why our young people, how can we prepare them? How to help our young people to be educated about this? Aju? That's why Father said, as individual is thinking only of themselves, the more, they cannot unite their mind and body. And then husband and wife cannot be united. So this individualism is the most fearful thing, Father said. It leads people to hell. So Father said, the dirt that stained human history begins from ourselves. So what is the origin of the dirt that has stained human history? It begins from ourselves. Dirt did not just fall on our first ancestors. They made themselves dirty. How did they become dirty? They thought of themselves as being the center of everything. Egoism and selfishness are what stained them. So if our ancestors had lived in service to what is more precious than themselves, then they would not have taken the path to defilement. What is more precious than oneself? We are resultant beings. Therefore, we should live for the causal being. God is that most precious existence, and we should live for Him. So had people truly lived for God and thought of God before thinking of themselves, we could never have become evil. So we have to understand and realize that we are resultant being. We cannot just live for our own. We have to live for the causal being, the ones who have created us. That's why understanding, this principle is really very important. All the things that was created in this world are living for the ones who created them. The created being has no, has no right to just live for its own sake, because he is created for a certain purpose that was given by the ones who created them. The same is true with human beings. So we can see all other things, like for example, this watch. This watch is created by the purpose is very clear, right? This watch cannot just live for its own, right? The one who created this. So the same is true already. We know this very well. So that's why human beings also, we cannot just live centering on ourselves, since we are a resultant being, right? So human beings needs to live for the sake of the one who created them, for the sake of Heavenly Parent. We are very clear already about this, the purpose of our life that God created, that God has given us. So if we just pursue our everyday life, living for this, centering on our Heavenly Parent, then every problems that are existing now in our society can be solved. Aju? So if only people truly live for God and thought of God before thinking of themselves, then we could never have become evil. Aju? So that's why the problem, the dirt that stained human history, Father said, begins in ourselves, because we thought, we are thinking, that we exist on our own. We only live for our sake, but we don't know that God, created us. There's someone that created us. So our purpose is very clear. Aju? So Father said, the way of arrogance leads to hell, while the way of humility leads to heaven. Many of you soon become arrogant and think, I am a member of the Unification Church. I have worked for the church for 3 years. So it's about time that Reverend Moon gives me the blessing. Then he should recognize me, and so should the church. What a pity if you think that way. In our church, there are 2 ways of life, arrogance and humility. The way of arrogance leads to hell, while the way of humility leads to heaven. What about you? Do you belong to heaven or hell? So it's not God, it's not true parents who will decide this. It's only us. That's why Father said, especially in the early days, we are preparing for the blessing. So maybe that time, many people are thinking, already I sacrificed, so I'm already, qualified to receive the blessing. Or, even now, many people, are thinking, already I sacrificed my whole life for the church, so the church should help me, the church should recognize me. We have this kind of mindset. That's why Father is saying here, maybe soon you will become arrogant and think, I'm a member of the Unification Church. I have worked for the church, for 3 years or so, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I worked for the church for 50 years. So the church should recognize me, right? Or give me the church should give me something, recognize my work, my sacrifice. So what happens if we think like this? Father said, what a pity if you think that way. In our church, there are 2 ways of life, arrogance and humility. So the way of arrogance leads to hell, while the way of humility leads to heaven, right? Of course, all of us, we were blessed because of the blessing. True parents could, take responsibility, full responsibility for us. But, it's still very important the way we are living our life. We shouldn't think that, I sacrifice already everything, my life, my entire family for the church. But this kind of mind will, make you arrogant, right? And then Father said, this will lead to hell. This kind of attitude. That's why what remains in the end is our character. The more we sacrifice, we live for the sake of others, the more we become humble, right? The more we recognize the miracle that true parents have done to our life, the more we recognize and the more grateful we are, the more grateful we should be that we could meet true parents, that we could meet the Unification Church, not the other way around. Otherwise, we will lose. Right? That's why our attitude now is the most important. The more we are living our life, the more we are long time in our movement, in our church, sacrificing, the more we became humble. Right? The more we recognize how true parents have changed our life, the more we recognize and the more we are grateful to true parents that we could meet our movement, not the other way around. Otherwise, we become arrogant, Father said, and then this leads to hell. It doesn't mean, we receive the blessing, we are, all these things. But we have to keep, humility. The more we become humble, the more we feel we have to do more. Right? This should be the right attitude. Father's reminding us today. That's why arrogance, Father said, thinking only of our own way, stubbornness, these are our enemies. These are the things that is pulling us as we go and strive to go to the kingdom of heaven later on. Right? But many things are pulling us. That's why going to the kingdom of heaven is life and death. It's not easy to go there. Right? That's why most of the people go to hell because of this. Right? We started to, think about ourselves already, that's why we have to be very careful with our attitude, with our character, living our life every day. Aju, this is really, really important. That's why our ego, our pride, we have to, how to eliminate this in our life. The more we are living with true parents, sacrificing, living this kind of life, the more we forget ourselves. This should be. And then the more we think about God, about true parents, about other people. Aju, this is the way to heaven. This is the way to heaven. That's why true parents is, guiding us step by step. So how to go to the kingdom of heaven? There are a lot of obstacles, mountains of obstacles we need to overcome. And then even detailed, true parents is teaching us, right? So we have the opportunity to really live in the kingdom of heaven later on, right? After we overcome one by one and we grow and develop ourselves, our character, become a person of, become more humble in our life. Aju, and then the more we can think for heavenly true parents, and for other people. And then we completely deny ourselves. Aju, Aju. So this is the only way. And then true parents is teaching us every step. So there's nothing but for us to become successful and victorious, because everything is teaching to us by true parents, step by step. Aju, so really we are very thankful to our heavenly parents and true parents. So every day they are educating us. So let's really appreciate our heavenly parents and true parents. So thank you very much once again, our precious brothers and sisters. Let's really reflect again and really do our best. So I wish you to have a blessed day today. May heavenly parents love and blessings be upon you and your families. Thank you once again. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you so much. Let us give a hand to our Heavenly Parent and true parents, and to our national leader, Reverend Lay Angela Halog. Thank you so much, sir, for that amazing message this morning. Now, before we call the assigned person to share, is there anyone here in our Zoom room who wants to volunteer to share? Oh, okay. Anyone? Okay, I think none. So let's proceed to share his reflection. Let us all welcome Mr. Julie Magsipok.
Can you hear me?
Yes, po. Morning po.
Okay, so good morning, our Heavenly Parent, and our beloved and victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, and also to our Regional Vice President for Asia Pacific, Reverend Julius Marikdim, and to our National President, Reverend Leo Angelo T. Halog, and of course to our leaders and elders, all blessed central families all throughout the country, Philippines, and the other some part of the world, our full-time members, brothers and sisters, once again, good morning. First of all, I'm thankful and grateful for the very inspiring message that we receive every day, especially this morning, gave by our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halog. And of course, thank you very much for this great opportunity and privilege to share my reflection. And so the title of our message today is about the pride and the egoism. And we know that these things are actually our fallen nature that we inherited from our first human ancestors, Adam and Eve, and everything because of Satan's blood lineage, no? That we inherited from him, and we know that I am also grateful because of I thought I met true parents in my life, and it awakens me to develop myself and to develop my personality as a human being, because those teachings reminds me on how to manage my spiritual life every day. We are being educated and betrayed because the purpose of this is for us to really go back to the bosom of our beloved heavenly parents and true parents. So regarding the fallen natures, actually, it is not easy for us to get rid of all of this because of the blood lineage. That's why we are very grateful because of the merit of the age that we are now in our era today. We see the blessing. We are being educated every day through the hondoke, through the lectures that we learn from the divine principle on how to really transform ourselves from being a fallen person to become a good person. That's why in our life of faith, actually, we know that there are lots of struggles that we encounter a lot along the way. But it's also normal because that is our inherited personality because of Satan, because of the fall of our first human ancestors. That's why in our life of faith, the enemy we have every day is not others. It's not my neighbor. It's not my brothers and sisters. It's not my wife. It's not my children. But the best enemy we have is myself. No? Because of our selfishness, because of this fallen nature that we have every day. No, that's why we are now, the world is now perishing because everything starts from our self-centered desire and intentions. So that's why our father said that the self-centered person are doomed to perish. It's really very true. Because everything starts from our mind, self-centered mind. That's why also the father said that whenever selfishness enters, there is always division. So division starts from our own thinking, our own self-centered thinking. That's why we are struggling every day. We are putting ourselves in a situation that we are destined to perish and to destroy. That's why we should be careful with our mind. As an individual, there is always fighting between the good and evil, and according to the principle, no, and that division from our mind it would be expanded to our families. That's why you can see, in our world today, there are lots of problems about families. Fighting between husband and wife are very rampant this time. Struggles between parents and children. It's very sad to know that that is our uh, normal situations in our environment today. And because of that, no, families are fighting also. And of course, societies are also struggling and fighting. Brothers and brothers are fighting. Religions are fighting. No? Politicians are fighting this time. No? So because of that, no, our nations are really declining. No? That is really the situations, no, the real situations of our time today, last days. So because of that, no, we are living in the world of chaos, a world of war, division, and we are now living in a complete hell on earth because hell starting from our own self-centered point of view, our fallen natures. So brothers and sisters, that's why we should be careful about our mind because everything starts from our mind. No? But because of that mind, no, that thinking will be our action later on, and and finally, that is will be our own personality. Okay, so and also it lead us to destroy ourselves and others. That's why we are very grateful and thankful to our leaders who exerting their effort to educate us every day in this morning devotion. And personally, I really uh, thankful for them for this great initiative that every day we always nurture our spiritual life to really overcome our fallen natures. It is not really a guarantee that we are all members in our family. We know the principle, we know the formula to lead us into God's kingdom. Although we have that desire to live in the kingdom of heaven someday, but sometimes we are being enslaved by our own point of view. Sometimes yan minsan na magibabaw sa atin yung ating point of view. Sometimes because of our fallen nature, we sometimes forget what is the formula for us to transform ourselves to become a better person. So we are being trained and educated by the principle to overcome our fallen nature by denying ourselves and to live for the sake of others. That's why in the past, brothers and sisters, I am very thankful that I experienced mission life. No? Kung ibalik ko lang ang na maging single pa lang ako ngayon, I choose to still become a full-time member. Because walang talo, no? Kung full-time member tayo. Kung struggle tayo, but if we overcome it, so gain tayo. Pero kung magkaroon tayo ng results, no, in our fundraising, in our witnessing, no, gain pa rin. That is very important of being a full-time member. That the True Father said, no, full-time life is a springboard towards our perfection. So that's why in our time today, as a Blessed Central Family, it is not a guarantee for us to really live a principled way of life. Because although we've been blessed, but still, we cannot deny that fallen nature is always there to push us back, no? To forget our position, being a Blessed Central Family. And that's why, no, Brother Leo Angelo Halog said that the most important in our time today is our right attitude. Right attitude, no, to really to really practice what is really the principle, and to really promote what is the goodness and living for the sake of others that our true parents had taught to us, and to really overcome our fallen natures. So thank you for this great privilege that again we received the very inspiring words today, and hope and pray that all of us could be able to, we should unite together as a true brothers and sisters, especially in this pandemic problems of coronavirus. Hopefully, through our prayers, although we are very far from each other, but the most important is our connections of heart to our leaders, to our brothers and sisters, especially those who are in the midst of suffering and problems in life. So we should um, work together as one family. So thank you, brothers, for all this opportunity, and thank you. I think that's all. Good morning once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Julie Magsipak, for sharing your reflection. Let us give a hand to Mr. Julie Magsipak. Thank you so much, Paul, for sharing your reflection with us. Now, for the next sharer, let us welcome Mrs. Setsuko Derecho.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, Heavenly Parents, the parents of heaven and humankind. Good morning, our leaders and brothers and sisters. So this morning, you could enjoy for our children's Derecho sibling first debut of the sing Japanese sing. So actually, they cannot speak Japanese. So I'm very so sorry, could not teach them the Japanese. Not at least when start the coronavirus last year, they don't have school. I start teach little bit in Japanese, and this song also the teach. And this mirai, the meaning of mirai, it means that future. Most of them could not understand, but some parts, mother said, look at your feet, that is your way to go. But you look at your head to a front, look at the front, that's your future. And this song also that mother is always taking hand to bring children to the good way. That's very nice song. I always sing that like through mother, where always she is holding our hand to bring the right way. So that I choose for them to sing this song. I hope that you could enjoy for this morning. Also, I was starting to think about what I can share. And up to yesterday, our national leader is talking about heaven. And in that I was thinking something for the heaven. But this morning, the title is Ego and Pride. So I really feel this is for me. This really, I always think how much I'm selfish and I have pride. So that maybe God, heavenly parents, give me this title. But also that always think about our ego. But of course, as a member or as a builder of Gok, our desire is that is not bad, not ego. Our desire, if we don't have desire, for example, if I don't want to be happy, cannot be happy, I really, we need to have desire. That is not for the nature. But if, so I really feel that the important is I need to have strong desire also, but that desire is not my desire. It's my desire. It's a Heavenly Parent's desire. So I want to enter the Chombo couple. That is not my desire. That is the Heavenly Parent and True Parent's desire. I really feel that because of a fall, our desire and our ego separate. God and Heavenly Parent and myself separate. That's the fall. So my desire is God's desire. So we need to really have big dream to realize our dream comes true. So this morning, thank you very much. Actually, I wanted to share one thing. Now in Japan, it's very popular for the word of 하나님 부모님, 참 부모님 감사합니다. That's the some of them is really teaching 430 times one day. You can say 하나님 부모님, 참 부모님 감사합니다. 430 times every day. Good will happen. Entire word that the Heavenly Parents, our God was not never called by Heavenly Parents. How much He is happy to be called by Heavenly Parents. That's why in Japan have movement of the Heavenly Parents, True Parents, 하나님 부모님, 참 부모님, 감사합니다 movement. So we can try. I'm trying this time. Thank you very much to all to enjoy for this day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Satsuko, for sharing your reflection and your determination. Let us give a hand to Mrs. Satsuko Derecho. Thank you so much po. Now for our final guidance, let us welcome our beloved Regional Vice President of Heavenly Asia Pacific 2, Dr. Julius P. Magdalena.
Yes, good morning once again, brothers and sisters. Happy Saturday, and thank you to all our brothers and sisters in Soksargen for this Hundukhe today. Thank you to our national leader for another very important guidance today shared to us from the words of our true parents, especially emphasizing about egoism and pride. Whenever we talk about this topic, egoism and pride, we can always think of it as this is like building egoism and pride. This builds or widens the gap between us and God. Now, kung mapapansin ninyo, the more pride I have, the more egoistic I become, the more I separate from God. Or even not only separate, it shuts down the door to God. Why? Because egoism and pride, ang resulta nito, we become more independent, right? So the more we become independent, we just do things on our own. And then later on, you will feel that I don't need God. You will feel that I don't need true parents. And then worse also, the more that you don't need brothers and sisters, you will think I don't need leaders. I don't need my central figures. I can do on my own. So that's why this is very dangerous in our life of faith. So the enemy is stubbornness. It means like insisting on my own way. Father said, no, insisting on our own way. That is the problem. This is the one that creates problem in our life of faith. Many of our brothers and sisters who lose their way in the life of faith because they started to think I can do on my own. So, the fall is a process. It did not just happen suddenly. The fall is a step-by-step process, right? So the first step of the fall is the appearance of individual thinking, yung individualism or self-awareness. So Adam and Eve started to feel aware of themselves. And then later on, anong result noon? The result was they started to feel, oh, we are free. We can do whatever we want, no? Thinking that they can do as they please. And then based on that, as it accumulated, then it resulted into committing the act of the fall. So our fallen nature, True Father said, we are unconsciously arrogant. I don't know. Of course, it's when we reflect in ourselves, we are unconsciously arrogant. That's the truth. We inherited this fallen nature. So that's why everything starts from thinking. Actually, Kuya Julie mentioned, no? It all starts in our mind. So that means the fighting also starts in our mind. The fight to overcome egoism and pride also starts from our thinking, also starts from our mind. So self-centered way of thinking or self-centered viewpoint, Satan is always using this to attack us. Satan is always using this, no? Internally. It's like attacking us every day. Selfish individualism is actually Satan's creation. Yun yung ano niya eh. Yan yung, that is his strategy. That is how he manipulated Adam and Eve in the beginning. Ipinasok niya sa pag-iisip nila because, Adam and Eve have free will. They can think about anything. So Lucifer or Satan put that in their mind. Hey, you can start thinking of your own. No need to think about God. So it starts from there. So the battle also starts in our mind. Everything that God created is based on the ideal of living for the sake of others, right? So that is God's ideal. So this is the natural order of creation, we can say. However, because of egoism, the egoism and pride destroyed or harmed this natural order of creation. Yun ang sumira sa natural order of creation. So that started the process of the fall. So that is why, as True Father said, Satan's nature is always what? Arrogance and anger or hate. So this is Satan's nature. No? This is the nature of Satan. So Satan always use complaint, dissatisfaction. So he is always using this as window to disturb us. So of course, many of our brothers and sisters try to become stable in their life of faith. But always this comes of negative thoughts coming to us, complaints, dissatisfaction. And then based on that, you start to think of yourself. And then you even think of like self-pity, no? Self-pity. So Satan is always using this. So that's why we should always need to check or close this window that is always used by Satan. So this window is what? Complaining, criticizing, and then it builds arrogance, and then independent thinking. I am my own central figure. So ito yung palaging ginagamit ni Satan. And then eventually, we separate from true parents. So sometimes, brothers and sisters, when you are endowed with capabilities or talents or abilities, actually, this is very dangerous. Because if we don't know how to use this properly, if we don't align our thinking properly, Satan can also use this. The more capable you are, the more abilities you have, the more power you have, the more influence you have, or the more money you have, this will be used as entry point for Satan to come in. Use these capabilities, and then you start thinking that I am better than others. No, I am better than others. I can decide on my own. I can go my own way. This is actually very dangerous in our life of faith. Sometimes we call this in the English word hubris. Hubris means like excessive belief in myself. No, I can do on my own. Excessive pride and excessive self-confidence. So that's, of course, self-confidence is very good. However, pag hindi na yan na-control yung self-confidence, it leads to excessive pride, and then it leads to thinking that I can do even without God. I can do even without true parents. So what is the antidote to overcome egoism and pride? Of course, we already know, right? The opposite of pride and egoism is what? Humility and meekness. Humility and meekness, or self-denial. That's why in our life of faith, we are trained to deny ourselves, to deny our own way of thinking, to prioritize what is public over private, right? Even to deny our own happiness, our own comfort. This is the antidote to overcome egoism and pride. You know, actually, when we think of humility, it is very tricky, brothers and sisters. The moment that you think you are humble, that's the moment you lose humility. So it's very tricky, no? So that is why the goal, our goal every day should be how to overcome my self-awareness. No, Aju? So humility should be like natural, artistic response, just like a child towards parents. Yung hindi yan ini-impose sa'yo. No? Hindi yan sinasabi ng leader mo na, oh, dapat ganito ka. It is our natural, artistic response, just like a child in front of parents. So we have to fight arrogance with humility. So actually, brothers and sisters, honestly, even myself, centering on God's standard, centering on true parents' standard, internally, we are arrogant. Of course, maybe it doesn't show externally, but honestly, when we come to reflect, maybe I will ask you to reflect, how many times have you complained in your mind? How many times have you criticized in your mind? No? Actually, internally, we are arrogant. That's why we have to fight back. We have to be conscious about this, because the more we deny, oh, I am not arrogant. If we deny that, then that's the start. That's the starting point. Satan will come in. So that is why True Father is always encouraging us. Go back to 0 point. What is 0 point? Totally no concept of myself. Deny myself. Of course, it's not easy. No, because this is our fallen nature. But that is the only way. Self-denial. Go back to 0 point. No concept of myself. So being humble and meek does not mean, no, brothers and sisters, this is very important. Being humble and meek does not mean that you are not capable, that you are unworthy. That's not the meaning. But it is actually acknowledgement that everything comes from God. No? That everything that we have belongs to God. So yun, recognizing that everything that we have belongs to God. That is humility and meekness. So every day we have to be eternally grateful to our heavenly parents, to our true parents, because we are educated in this way. So we have a way how to fight back. No? So when the feeling of arrogance and pride comes in, we know how to overcome. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for this wonderful Hunduke today. And let's have a blessed Saturday. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you so much, Sir Julius, for that amazing guidance. Once again, let's give a hand to Dr. Julius Malikdam. Thank you so much. Before we proceed to our closing prayer, let us first appreciate our blessed families from Region 12 who shared this morning, and the host of today's morning devotion. Thank you so much po. Thank you. For our closing prayer, may I call our Mrs. Emily Nagsipo for the closing prayer. Is she here in our Zoom? Okay. May I request our Tita Dulce for the closing prayer?
Let us pray. 사랑하시는 하나님 전쟁 참품님, Heavenly Parent, once again, you had given us this very important reminder and guidance this morning. Really, we are truly thankful for really always not recognizing who we are in front of you. Many times, Heavenly Parent, we complain within us, Heavenly Parent, and really decide things not in accordance with your will and desire. Heavenly Parent, we would like to continuously learn and develop and grow that through your everyday guidance, we can really, Heavenly Parent, overcome all the limitations we had within us. And then through this, Heavenly Parent, we can really make our two parents happy. We can be worthy to stand before you, stand in our position this time as blessed family. And I hope and pray that through our everyday activity and always receiving your inspiration, we can be able, Father, to accomplish things that really you wanted us to accomplish in this very important time. Thank you for using your instrument this morning, our Reverend Halog and Reverend Julius Molitem. And I hope and pray that together with all our brothers and sisters who are here, or even not here in this Zoom room, Heavenly Parent, can receive this great guidance that can really guide us, not only just today, but in the coming days. Thank you for all these things. I would like to offer and pray and report in our names, Alfonso and Dulce, Buyaya, Bless Central Family, Aju.
Drew, let us offer our individual prayer. Aju. Let us offer our greetings to our Heavenly Parent parents. 감사합니다, Heavenly Parent parents. To our Regional Vice President, Sir Julius, thank you so much. To our National Leader, Reverend Lay Angela Halog, thank you so much. And to all blessed families, elders, brothers and sisters, thank you so much for joining our morning devotion. See you tomorrow. 감사합니다. Thank you so much.